Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for kicking my son's girlfriend out of our house? My husband, 58, male, and I, 56, female, recently met my son's 24 male girlfriend for the first time. He's been crazy about her. Apparently they've been dating for a year before he decided to have her meet us officially. What he's told us about her all seems great. She just got her degree, was enjoying her job, family-oriented, etc. I'm honestly just glad he's happy with her. My husband and I don't think he's ever been this into someone before, so I feel pretty bad about what I did. Last weekend he brought her over for dinner. By now we'd been anticipating meeting her with how much our son has been gushing about her, how perfect she is, that she's the one, in his words. They ring the doorbell. We open the door. She looks exactly like her pictures, which is a great start. My son is grinning ear to ear, another great start. We invite them in. She accepts my hug and a firm handshake from my husband, and then she opens her mouth. "I'm the one your son puts his penis in." To be frank, I was appalled. I expected my husband to laugh. Both he and my son are jokesters, and as annoying as it can be, I love it. But this was just too much for me. Maybe I'm reserved. But of all things she could have shared about my son, she told us that. One look at my face and my husband knew how much I disapproved. Maybe I let my expectations get too high, and it's unfair to have them. But I reiterate, of all things to say to her boyfriend's parents, whom she'd never met, she chose that? My son was amused at first, but when he noticed my reaction, his face dropped. I felt like he'd sold me the full package, everything he'd always been looking for in a girlfriend. I was too disturbed by the visual it put in my head, and it translated into anger. I told her to get out, and I wanted to say more about how gross it made me feel, but I fortunately left it at that. My son didn't want to go, insisting I give her another chance, but I was too fed up and uncomfortable by this point. Even my husband, who's enjoyed his fair share of raunchy jokes, wouldn't let up. They left and I immediately felt guilty. This was something my son had really looked forward to, and I feel like I took that away over a dumb joke. I tried calling to apologize, but he hasn't responded. My husband thinks she's the one who should apologize. I'm considering giving her another chance, but before I do, was I the AH? Edit. I should clear some things up. My husband had no part in my reaction. I did the kicking out, not him. I don't want him taking the fall for this. He said she should apologize, but I'm not expecting an apology. Sorry for the confusion. My son lives in a nearby state. It can take about an hour to get back to where we live. He also hasn't dated anyone seriously for a while, maybe a couple of years. He told us before that he wouldn't bring anyone home unless he's sure he wants a future with her. We've been asking to meet her ever since he told us about her, but he wanted to be ready. The comment about her looking like her picture shows my age. Sorry for that. He's only shown us her photos she's sent him, as he apparently didn't have any of them together. He hates taking pictures, and apparently she's always teasing him about it. I don't think he'd ever lie about who she is, but it's just a parental concern I've subconsciously had. I felt the same way about my daughter's boyfriend when we first met him. I don't have any criteria that either of my kids' spouses need to meet. I just hope my kids are happy with them. What I meant by her being the full package was indicative of what he's told us about her. As his parents, we have a good idea of what he looks for in a partner, and she checked off everything based on what we'd been told. And on top of everything, aside from what she said, her appearance was how she presented it to be. Again, we aren't strict about appearances. It's just a relief to have met someone for the first time and they look like what you'd expected. My husband said that I was worried about secondhand catfishing, if that's even a thing, LOL. I guess it shows how anxious I was about this. Also, thank you for your comments and rewards. I've had a few people reach out to me personally too. Thank you for that. Regardless of where you stand, I appreciate it. I personally think everyone needs some room for improvement here, but I've done my part to make amends, and I'm waiting on my son to call me. I'll be sure to give an update about how it goes. Not an idiot. This just doesn't sit right. You said your son was all big smiles and amusement when they arrived, and up until he realized you weren't all that impressed. You also said he jokes around like that with his dad. What are the chances it was your son's idea all along and she just, regretfully, went along with it? Because if that's the case, You probably can't get hold of him because he's doing damage control with his girlfriend, who's now mortified and angry that his super funny joke gave you the worst impression of her that she could imagine. Not an idiot. Not sure why anyone thinks that this is an acceptable thing to say to your boyfriend's parents the first time you meet them. I understand she was likely nervous, but that doesn't make this any less of a weird thing to say. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for making a pregnant lady wait in the rain? Me, female 15, got home from school yesterday and it was raining. I already walked from school to my apartment and I was drenched, so I just wanted to get in my house and take a shower. My apartment only had one elevator and only 10 people could get on at a time. When I got to the elevator, 9 people were already in, so by getting in I took up the last place. But doing so made some pregnant ladies have to wait in the rain. This morning she called me ass in front of my mom, and I got in huge trouble. What I'm aware of is that she lives on the 2nd floor, so she easily could have just went up 1 flight of stairs. I live on the 6th floor, so I couldn't do that so casually. I don't think I'm in the wrong, but what do you think? Am I an idiot? Not an idiot. To me. Some other comments bring up the risk of injury to the pregnant lady, but you could have easily gotten hurt going up 6 sets of stairs being drenched. At least she only had 1. It's valid of her to be frustrated, of course, but she can't expect the world to bend to her will just because she's pregnant. And the fact she took it out on you publicly when others could have let her on too is strange and rude to me. Not an idiot. It's an elevator. First come, first serve, and the best part is, it comes back around. Rain sucks for everyone, and it sounds like there were 9 other people who could have let her have their spot. Additionally, she's incredibly petty for calling a child out a whole day later. Minors are not the lowest on priority, and shouldn't be hassled for the same thing other adults are doing.